Welcome everybody. In this video we're going to be going over hip extension, pails and rails. This setup will be involving a significant amount of knee flexion compared to some of the other videos that have more of a neutral knee. This one is not going to involve the kick down of the foot that I've done in other videos similar to the couch stretch. This is strictly hip flexion and extensor tissue. We're not doing a bunch of knee drive and quad kick and foot kick stuff on this one. This is just going to be hip. So I have my setup here. You might not need a prop that's quite this high, maybe just a couple yoga blocks under the foot to meet you where you're at. We do need a very heavy, solid object in front of our knee, and I highly recommend you put a pad underneath your knee to make this more comfortable, as there will be most likely some very subtle shifting forward and backwards. So just to prevent any excessive shearing type forces on the patella, this is going to keep you very comfortable. So this is a right side setup. So my foot is propped up on the bench. I'm going to put my knee on the pad, and my lower part of my quad is right up against my dumbbell. Now for this one, usually I would recommend PVC pipes or dowel rods in your hands for extra support. I'm not going to worry about it for right now. I'm pretty stable in this position, but if this is your first time doing this, I highly recommend you put some pipes in your hands or something solid to hang on to in front of you. To initiate the stretch and to find our best stretch, you need to scoop the butt underneath you, and we're searching for a higher hip stretch on this one. If you get into this stretch and all you feel right off the bat is just big quad in the middle, but you don't feel the tissue up high, chances are this is too tall and we need to lower that down, because I want you guys to be able to isolate this higher hip tissue. That being said, some of us are just really tight in the quads and we need to open up some quad length before we're really able to get super deep into the deepest, highest parts of the hip flexors. So take that in mind and work with what you got. So we're in our setup. Like I said, we will scoop the pelvis. We're trying to find this high stretch. If you're having trouble finding it, squeeze this butt cheek right off the bat. So if I tuck and squeeze, I get a really, really hard stretch right here in my hip. This is about an 8 out of 10 right now intensity-wise, so it's really talking to me. Now once I've found the stretch, I'm going to release the glute squeeze, and I am just going to focus on maintaining the stretch position. And I'm going to sit in this stretch position for a minimum of a minute, ideally upwards to 2 minutes. Now, some people have a very low endurance to stretching in this position, so you may start as little as 20 or 30 seconds when you initially start doing this. Once we've sat in our stretch for the recommended amount of time, or whatever you can handle, we are then going to begin our PAILs contraction. So our PAILs contraction is going to be a sniff in, first for bracing. We trap that air deep in our core and we lock the body completely still. This front leg should feel like it's strong on the ground, and this back leg has tension going through it like it's ready to fire, but we haven't told it what to do yet. What we are going to initiate first is contracting the stretched tissue. So to do that, we are going to push our knee very lightly, very small effort, against the dumbbell. This is a thigh drive, knee drive forward. We are not doing anything with the kick down. It just happens to be here. We will start at roughly 1 to 5%, and we will slowly ramp up a strong, clean contraction over the course of about 10 to 15 seconds. And we're maximizing tissue engagement. We're flexing our hip, our quad, our core is super solid. This leg is flexed. My whole body is loaded up and helping me with this contraction. And then after that 15 seconds has been hit, 10 to 15 seconds has been hit, we will lock the pelvis in its position, we will lock the core still, and then it is all butt squeeze. And we crush the glute as much as we can. And on this one, we will try to flex some hamstring, but the goal is glute. So it's like 75, 85, 90% glute, and just a little bit of hamstring to get more posterior leg involved. If you can, you will involve the entire back of the leg and you will crush it as hard as you can, as long as it doesn't cause a sharp sensation in the front of the hip. Mine is clean, so I'm going to fight as hard as possible with my glute squeeze, my hamstring curl effort. I'm squeezing all of this back here, and there's no lower back involved at all. We hold for 10 to 15 seconds, and then we ease off. We breathe for at least 20 to 30 seconds as we let the stretch settle out and we let new ranges open. And then we see what's opened, and then we rinse and repeat. Some people initially will only be able to handle 1 round of this right off the bat. Most of my clients, I recommend at least 2 rounds of 10-second PAILs and rails. Remember, PAILs is knee forward, rails is butt squeeze, and hamstring curl backwards. If you're experienced with this kind of stuff, I recommend 3 to 4 sets, back and forth, sometimes 5 seconds in each direction, sometimes 10. It just depends on where we're at in our training. And after this, you want to reinforce this newly opened up range of motion with hip-controlled articular rotations of whichever variation we've decided is best for you. Thank you for watching, guys, and please subscribe so you see all my content as it comes out. We'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks.